Welcome. My name is Sonia, and I work from a systemic perspective with families, leaders, and practitioners who are navigating complexity that cannot be solved at the individual level alone. Today, I speak about ADHD, not as a diagnosis to be fixed, but as a signal within a wider system. Over many years of systemic and family constellation work, I have seen how attention differences, emotional intensity, and nervous system patterns often reflect what a family system and sometimes a collective system is saying. This perspective does not replace medical, psychological, or educational support. It adds another layer of understanding, one that asks not what is wrong, but what is asking to be acknowledged. In each video, I explore one emotional experience many families live with, introduce a systemic insight through the wisdom of the family of soul cards, and offer a gentle reflection, not to give answers, but to open a space for clarity, dignity, and belonging. Who does not know the frustration and overwhelm when a family life feels like constant firefighting? And we're going to use the flow of life card as a perspective to look through. When families live with ADHD or heightened emotional sensitivity, frustration often becomes the background noise of daily life. Not because parents lack love or skill, but because the pace feels relentless. Mornings are rushed, emotions escalate quickly, small requests turn into big reactions. And over time, parents find themselves depleted, irritated, and wondering why nothing seems to settle. From a systemic perspective, this frustration is not personal failure. I want you to look at that. It is not failure. It is information. Many parents describe feeling as though they are constantly managing crisis, regulating emotions, negotiation transitions, calming down storms that arise without warning. Even moments that should feel neutral, homework, bedtime, getting dressed, carry tension. What's painful is not only the chaos, but the absence of flow. There is no rhythm to rest into, no sense that life is moving with the family. In systemic intelligence, overwhelm often signals that the family system is carrying more than what it can integrate. And yes, it's not all children in the family, and there's a reason for that, and I will explain that in a completely different video. Today, I'm only going to deal with the effects of this overwhelm. Children are exquisitely sensitive to unprocessed stress, emotional overload, transitions that were rushed or unacknowledged, a pace of life that exceeds nervous system capacity. Hyperactivity or emotional volatility may appear where flow has been interrupted, not just for the child, but for the system as a whole. So I want us to look at the wisdom card flow of life a little bit closer, because this card invites us to ask, where is life being forced instead of allowed? When flow is blocked, energy has nowhere to go. It turns into restlessness, agitation, or collapse. This card does not ask parents to slow the child down. It asks the system to notice where slowing has already been skipped. Let's go into just a few examples. A child's symptoms intensify during prolonged periods of parental work stress, even when the child is not directly involved. After relocations of family changes that were handled efficiently but not emotionally processed, regulation becomes harder. When parents consciously introduce pauses, fewer transitions, less rushing, symptoms often soften without direct intervention. You might gently ask, where in our family life has the flow been interrupted? Place one hand on your belly. Take 3 slow breaths and allow yourself to notice what is tired, what has been rushing. Not to fix, just to notice. You may be wondering and asking, Sonia, how does this help my child? From a systemic perspective, children do not change because they are corrected. They change because the system around them becomes safer, clearer, and more regulated. When parents stop carrying what does not belong to them, when guilt softens, when reality is accepted rather than negotiated, and when family tension reduces, the child no longer needs to hold that pressure in their body or behavior. This does not mean symptoms disappear overnight. It means your child is no longer unconsciously stabilizing the system for everyone else. What helps children most is not being fixed. It is being allowed to be the child in a system that can carry its own weight. And that is where real support begins. So thank you for listening. And if you want to explore more deeply, you know where to go, right here below. And in the meantime, subscribe, like, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for being here.